Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday Night Legacy. I'm Eugene, and we're getting in here for last Tuesday, January 18th, round one. On the left, we have Blue Black Ninjas, and on the right, we have Yorion D&T. Just a quick note before we start. Yorion is the commander, nope, he's the companion of the Death and Taxes deck, requiring 20 extra cards in the deck. It looks like it's making it a stronger deck overall, adding a bunch of extra utility cards and flushing out a bunch of 4-ofs in the deck. Let's get started here. So Pedro is actually has the start here. He's going to start with a Prismatic Vista, getting a Retrofitter Foundry. This card generates a lot of advantage, making 1/1s and up to 4/4s, but what it really does is activate his ninjutsu, getting some servos down, and if they're unblocked, he can ninjutsu in those fun ninjas that let him draw extra cards and get his tempo way higher than his opponent. On the right-hand side here, we have a turn 1 Aether Vial by John. This card gets to play around counter spells, which is really good against Pedro's deck specifically, since he has all of those creatures backed up by counter magic. So Aether Vial, a good turn 1 play here. Okay, you can see the Retrofitter Foundry activated for the 1/1 servo. Going in for the... Oh, we're waiting before attacks. Rishadan Port is going to be activated. This is a utility land that can tap for colorless mana, but can also tap with another mana to tap down your opponent's lands. Usually used in the upkeep. It looked like it was used in the combat step, maybe the main phase step. Oh, it's being used in Declare Attacker step, because there's so many phases in combat, he would lose the mana and not be able to ninjutsu. Instead, that mana is used for the spell on Brazen Borrower, Petty Theft, to return target non-land permanent to an opponent controls to its owner's hand. So that Aether Vial getting stuck back in there. But in the meantime, John was able to activate it to get the Mother of Runes in play. All right, now on John's turn, he tried to cast a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Unfortunately, got Force of Willed. Thalia really good as well against the Ninja's deck, but an important card to get out of there with the Force of Will, countering it for basically just exiling a blue card in 1 life. Looks like John did offer trades on that 1/1 servo with his Mother of Runes. Mother of Runes not as good against colorless creature cards. It can give protection to any creature from any color that is in the game of Magic, but colorless is not a color in the game of Magic, so not very useful. All right, we see Skyclave Apparition coming down, exiling the Retrofitter Foundry. When Skyclave Apparition leaves, Pedro will get a 1/1 illusion token if it ever does leave play. All right, so Brazen Borrower, I love this interaction. Brazen Borrower can be cast at instant speed because it has flash, and it is actually bounced back to his hand when it's ninjutsu'd with this Genius Infiltrator in play. So not only does Pedro get to draw a card when the ninja hits, but now he has Brazen Borrower back in his hand, so he can bounce any non-land permanent with the Petty Theft instant on Brazen Borrower. It's an excellent tempo play. It's like he never lost any cards at all. All right, looks like throwing down 2 Aether Vials with Rishadan Port and Plains tapped. Casting Murderous Cut, delving a couple cards out of the grave. This is going to kill target creature. Basically a 1 mana kill spell. Very good. Exiling 5 extra cards. It is a 6 cost, I believe. Or it might be a 5 cost. I'm not entirely certain. But it did get the job done. Get that Infiltrator or the Apparition out of there. So that was the illusion, now gone and turned into a Yuriko Tiger's Shadow. This is going to be a very aggressive play here. 2 ninjas hitting, drawing 2 cards, and 2 cards off the top. So that's 4 cards drawn for Pedro on that turn. And John did take a little bit of damage, converted mana cost equal to the cards that he revealed from the Yuriko triggers. Okay, we have a Recruiter of the Guard here. This allows him to go and get any creature of his deck that has power 2 or less. Now this is where the real power of the Yorion deck lies, because there are 4 Recruiter of the Guards, and I'm pretty sure every creature in the deck has power 2 or less. You can tutor for basically anything that you need, and since there's so many so many extra slots, you have all of these different bullets that you can get for very specific situations. And we see John here kind of going through the very large deck, trying to decide what is going to bail him out of this situation. We know that a petty theft is still in Pedro's hand, so can't be anything that's needs to stick around. So he goes for the Solitude. Solitude's a great play if he can get it to stick. At least he has a fetchable Swords to Plowshares, which is great. All right, lots of plays here happening. So Snuff Out, he paid 4 life to kill that Recruiter of the Guard. The Solitude went to hand. He cast the Petty Theft to get rid of an Aether Vial. Now John is attempting to cast Solitude for its evoke cost, exiling Flicker Wisp. And that was a Force of Will, and that is a scoop from John. So we are here in match 2. John has the play, starting with the turn 1 Aether Vial. Pretty solid start, but not against Force of Will. We have an Ornithopter into a Ponder, setting up the hand a little bit better. Looks like Pedro's down to 2 cards in hand. Not ideal place to be, but Ponder will help fix that. Shuffling the deck, didn't like the top 3 cards of his library. Caracas down from John and a pass back. Baleful Strix, this is a 1/1 with flying and death touch. When it enters the battlefield, he gets to draw a card. Very good at holding back any kind of aggro, and yeah, just can sit there and draw you cards all day long. Okay, looks like we are getting an Ingenious Infiltrator into play. That's going to draw a card. The Ornithopter probably coming right back down. 0 cost 0/2 with flying, always fun. 3 mana, 4 mana for a Recruiter of the Guard. What are we going to get this time, John? What gets you out of this pickle? Not a ton of action from John early game here. I think maybe he kept a threat-dense hand, but one of the interesting parts of the Yorion deck is that it does have a lot of higher converted mana cost cards. 3, 5, 4, not a ton of 4, but we are not seeing the lower converted mana cost cards here yet. Looked like he did go and get a Mother of Runes, so he can activate that with the Aether Vial. The Liliana Last Hope coming down, getting rid of the Recruiter of the Guard. This is an excellent Planeswalker to kill X1s, since it can give -2/-1 to any creature until his next turn. He can also mill cards off the top of his deck to get creatures back from his graveyard in case those ninjas do get taken care of. Looks like we had an activation of the Aether Vial to get Mother of Runes in play. So this Mother of Runes is live, can protect itself from removal spells, and can protect that 4/4 Germ from the Batterskull from removal spells. But if it is removed with a colorless spell, oh, yep, that'll do it. So a Plague Engineer comes in, and I believe the chosen creature type was human. So it is giving -1/-1 to all humans that John controls. This is a static ability and cannot be protected against with Mother of Runes ability, so it dies as a state-based effect. Changeling Outcast coming down, that is all creature types, including Ninja. So when that Ingenious Infiltrator hits and the Changeling hits, he will draw 2 cards. Passing it back. Now John's turn. 3 for a... So he did cast the Recruiter of the Guard. It is a human, though, because the state-based effect says that it is a 0/0 when it enters the battlefield. It does die immediately, but it does enter the battlefield, so it has its enter the battlefield effect go off. John is checking on this card, Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is kind of the only thing that was going to stop this onslaught here, even though it doesn't have protection, and it has been errata to a human, so he did not go and get it. Instead, he got the Stoneforge Mystic. This is creature type core. It's going to allow him to go and get another equipment, but he has not cast it or Aether Vialed it into play yet. The Batterskull did attack, and it was traded with by the Baleful Strix because it had Death Touch. Not a big deal for Pedro, though, so he uses the minus ability on the Liliana the Liliana Last Hope to get it right back, and it's back into play, drawing him an extra card, and now we're getting attacked for all sorts of damage, drawing all sorts of cards. Pedro kind of running away with this game at this point. Activating the Aether Vial there, he didn't actually tap it, but because it is the end of Pedro's turn, it's about to untap anyways. Kind of a little shortcut there Another Changeling Outcast in play. This is in response to the end of Pedro's turn. The end of the battlefield effect getting Cauldron Complete. And Stoneforge Mystic is live, not affected by Summoning Sickness anymore. The 3 mana is because he put Yorion into his hand. Yes, I almost missed that. Okay, so the Cauldron Complete is now in play. He has the 5/5 Indestructible Creature. Unfortunately, Pedro does have 2 1/1s that are ninjas that cannot be blocked. They cannot block either, but that's not really what they're being used for. Kind of setting up his attacks here. So everybody in the air, 2/0 damages. Yuriko going to be switched out for one of those zeros. So that's going to be 3 ninjas hitting if nothing happens. Karakas returning. Oh, wow. Okay, so Karakas returned the Yuriko, but then Pedro paid 2 more mana to return another unblocked Ornithopter to play to get it into play again. Wow, that was a hell of a sequence. So we still have 3 changelings hitting, or 3 ninjas hitting, drawing 3 cards, and 3 ninjas hitting for the 3 Yuriko activations, dealing damage off the top. John being down to 3. Looks like Pedro even has more than 7 cards in hand. Oh boy. 3 Ornithopters coming down in second main. Casting a Ponder, because why not? Likes those cards. Gets that delta down, and I guess he's at exactly 7. The Aether Vial going up to 4. This is not very often for the Death and Taxes player. Usually never one to go above 3, but because he does have Yorion in hand, Solitude and Yorion both converted mana cost 5. So if he can get Yorion into play by activating that Aether Vial, he can flicker all of his non-land permanents, getting the Batterskull back, or the Germ for the Batterskull back, getting another equipment in play. Oh, he's casting it. And that's a Force of Will, and John's going to pick it up. Or, yeah. So that is Pedro 2-0 for the round 1, and we will see you for round 2.